So sorry once again for being late. A lot of things have happened between 7 p.m. and 7:15 p.m. But I'm grateful to be here. So once again, let's welcome our guest for today in the person of Miss Sharon Olateju. Hi, Sharon. It's so good to have you.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
So good to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. So good to be here. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. So I remember the first time we met at LinkedIn Local Nigeria, the way you
Yeah.
received me, I wasn't really expecting it at all. So when I was thinking of this conversation, you came to mind almost immediately.
Mm.
So now let's start something from there. So if you don't know, or if you already know, Sharon designed the merch for LinkedIn Local Nigeria, the events that hosted thousands of young people. And I tell you, that's not small at all. That is not
Yeah.
small. I don't want to compare myself, but I know that that is not small. For her, it may be like, oh, that's small. Being an entrepreneur, being a businesswoman. But yeah, she did that. So how did that happen? Can you run us through how you got that opportunity? I would like to know.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? I need to know if I'm audible. Hello. Okay. 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 All right. So good evening, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Let me just dive in straight into the question. So the question is, how did I get the gig, right?
Yeah, like how did you get the opportunity? How did you happen to design the merch for one of the biggest events for young people in Nigeria?
Okay, so I think the most important factor and the most important thing in entering into rooms is you offering value. The thing is, once you have value, you are immediately a magnet, right? You attract the right opportunities, you attract the right people. And so before LinkedIn Local Nigeria, I was just doing my thing, offering excellence in the way that I can for events, for personal wares, and all of that. And also leveraging a relationship. I mean, the convener, Olateju Ajayi, is a very good friend of mine. And so I believe the team have been, watching and speculating on the brand that would deliver, custom made merch for them. And even before the event, we covered the school tour that they did. And I remember Olateju reaching out to me and he said, "Oh, can you provide about 50 teas for the event?" And then the team review the quality of the merch because, beyond him just being the convener, there are other people that would also vet and see if this, aligns with the quality of the event. And after I did that, it just felt like this is solid. Let's go for Shades Up, and that I got the opportunity. So I didn't pitch actually. It was just more like, okay, supply. Oh no, I think I started by supplying about 8 tees, if I remember. Yeah, 8 t-shirts. Then it was good. Then I supplied the t-shirts for the why do I keep saying vacation? For the school tours, and then it just I just became the best plug for the event. So yeah, so just make sure that whatever you are doing, please, regardless if it is your friend, if it's anybody, just make sure that you are providing value to Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C. Let your work speak for you. And I think that was just my yeah. So that's I got the gig.
Well, that's really amazing because I from what you said, I picked two things, or let's start with the first thing I picked. Okay. You said something about delivering value, which is very, very paramount because even though some people are your friends, there are friends that you have that you will not want to reach out to when you have something to do because you already know that they won't deliver, but they're your friends, right? And there are some people that you already know, oh, these people are going to really deliver and all of that. I also noticed that you did not just supply the merch at once, they made you do an MVP. So you delivered like from 8 and then you went up and up. So they were even trying to still test that okay, she's my friend, I know her, I'm connected to her, right? And I know she does the matches, but let's test what she can really do. That's quite amazing. I think that's what I'll start doing now. So I'll not just say, okay, you're my friend, let's do this. I would also try to say, come on, let's see what you've got. Can you really, really work on this, or will you deliver what we want you to deliver? So before we started, I didn't quite talk about Miss Sharon. And for some people that may not have done their research, Sharon Olateju is a clinical research professional, an entrepreneur, and a purpose-driven leader. She views leadership as the ultimate form of stewardship. She has occupied pivotal leadership roles and is a firm advocate for values first leadership, believing that true influence is built on the pillars of integrity, character, and a resilient faith centered foundation. Sharon is an entrepreneur and has nearly a decade of mastering the grit required to build from the ground up. Passionate about building and a founder of a thriving clothing line, Shades of. The for Sharon, excellence isn't optional. It's a non-negotiable, the only acceptable outcome. Now let's welcome officially our guest for today, Miss Sharon Olateju. Your virtual claps,
Thank you
protocols
so
being
much.
duly observed.
Oh my God, I'm shy. I'm like, oh, is that me?
I know, right? All protocols being duly observed.
Well, that's me. Thank you so much, Zara.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. So you've told us how you got the opportunity to clothe the thousands of young people that came for LinkedIn Local. So when that opportunity came, you knew the number, you knew what was really going to happen, you knew how many people were going to be affected by, you knew how many people were going to be affected by what you were going to do. What came to your head? What went on in your head? Like, what was your thought process like? What did you feel? How did you feel when Oladotu reached out to you and said, "Okay, Sharon, you're going to make the match"?
Hmm. Okay, let me say something. Let me say that um we've got to get to a particular point in our lives when we realize that every experience is inside of us. So I wasn't too flabbergasted,
Yeah.
right? Because I know where I'm going. I mean, if you should open my head and see the ideas in my head, you'll call me crazy. When I tell you, when you are looking at the next 5 years, when you are looking at 10 persons wearing t-shirts, hoodies, 5 out of them should be from my brand, not just across Nigeria, but across the continent and all of that. And that's why I put in so much effort in ensuring that what I deliver, the work I do, is not just something that cannot cross borders, right? So LinkedIn Local was, a very big event, right? And being the sole contractor for that job, it was quite huge and quite humbling. And I knew that I could not afford to mess this up. But because I have developed, an environment of excellence, it wasn't such a hard thing to do. It was just like, oh, this is just one of those jobs. And as I was saying earlier, that even though you are delivering to one person, you deliver excellence. Because the truth is, you do not know who that one person will be, right? I was just doing my job when probably Oladotu or one of his teammates, um, saw my job and they felt like, oh, this brand can actually deliver this job. So if you already have a hallmark of excellence, even when the big gigs come, you will not be threatened. It will not take you off balance because it is your norm. It is the order of the day. It is what you do. So it is when you do not deliver excellence on all sides, and that's when you feel scattered. But when it's something that you are used to, it's your work ethic, it just seems like the next job. It seems like, oh, the next gig. And I think that was just my perception of it. There wasn't really so much pressure. I knew my brand was going to deliver, and that was it. Yeah.
Actually, I think it's a confidence for me. And yeah, I get that confidence, like you said, it's rooted in your faith, right? So let's go back a bit. Growing up, what did you think you were going to become? Yeah, I know you've not fully manifested all the things
Mhm.
that you want to become, right? But
Yeah.
growing up, who did you think rather that you were going to become?
Okay. So I think we are all a product of our environment, right? And just like every average Nigerian, yeah, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be an engineer and all of that. And also I had that dream. But I wasn't interested in being a doctor or a nurse. I just wanted to wear lab coats in the hospital. I just loved the feeling of, I just wanted to just look like a nerd. I didn't care if it was anything. I just needed to work in the hospital. But one day I was 16, and I just got exposed to seeing a lot of people building brands, and it was just happening over and over and over, and it just changed my perspective. And I remember telling my mom that I want to start a business, and she was just looking at me like this. I was like, and I just saw myself, that lady with the black suit walking into a company with thousands of staff. And, that was just my motivation. And I just told her that, you know what? I mean, then the t-shirt industry, let me just put it that way, it wasn't, as common as we have it now. And I just started making research on, who sells this, who could supply me, who the printer can be. And I mean, that was just my drive. I spoke to my twin brother about it. So let's get a designer. And I can remember my twin brother, we paid the designer 3,000 naira for my first logo. And I was able to get about 3 shirts as sample shirts to show everyone that I'm selling something now and I have a logo so they can take me serious. Because I mean, I was a teenager, so it felt like, what this guy doing? Go and read for your wife. But I knew, to be very honest, I didn't know that I would still be doing that business till now. I just felt like it was just like something that just happened, on impulse. But I think that's how dreams are. Something so little can become so big, and you would not realize that a single step can just take you anywhere. So yeah, that was just it.
Yeah, like a single step can take you anywhere. If you didn't get anything, like you just get that, because that's actually it. For me, I say something on my WhatsApp bio that dreams are designed to find you. Now I'm going to add a single step can take you anywhere. So that cliche, just do it. You can see that right from Sharon's experience. It's not just a statement, a cliche statement. This is something that is real. So if you have any idea, if you have anything that you really believe in, you just go for it. So I actually had questions to ask you,
Okay.
following up the who did you think you were going to become, but somehow you were already in my thought process and you answered all the
Oh wow.
questions.
Oh
You
wow.
answered all the questions. Yeah, and you always dreamt of wearing word coats in the hospital, right? Somehow I just pulled off my word coats. In fact, my
Oh,
word coat delayed this meeting, it delayed this
okay.
whole conversation. And somehow I thank God. Actually, I don't want to complain. But yeah. So now you're a nurse and you run a clothing line and you are also leading. Has there ever been a moment where you paused and you're trying to ask yourself, so wait, who am I in all of this? You're a nurse, you have different roles, different obligations, and somehow has it ever come to you that wait, who am I? Am I Sharon the nurse? Am I Sharon the CEO, or Sharon creative director, or Sharon the leader? What exactly am I? Do you want to share? Do you have any moments like that?
Okay. Before I answer your question, I would just like to say that the secret of transformation is not just to look once, but to look again. The secret of transformation is not just to hear once, but to hear again. And this is for the audience, because I've realized that we attend a lot of webinars, we attend a lot of seminars, we attend a lot of conferences. But, once we end this call or we exit the door, that's it. And it's just important that beyond what I say tonight, beyond our conversations, beyond what we share, you make sure that it is not just enough to create, to make you really transformed. You need to sit with yourself and be able to, have a conversation and, work on yourself and all of that. So um, yes, I've experienced moments like this, and it just seems like a pull. So this place is like my career is pulling me, my business is pulling me, and it makes me wonder sometimes that, okay, do I really want to do this long term, or do I stay in this sphere for at least 20 years and then die? But the truth is, I think I'm over that. I think I can become anything I choose. I choose to be, right? And I'm not even done evolving. Like, I have some ideas that I've not even started implementing at all, because we've been, we hear a lot of conversations telling us that um, do one thing at a time, which is very true. It is important. The power of focus is extremely important. Now, let me cite an example. The sun is a great source of energy to the earth, and it supplies the earth millions of kilowatts, right? And no human can survive being near the sun. It is not possible. But somehow we go outside, and it's hot, it's scorchy, and then we still go out and we just like rant or complain that, oh, the sun is too high today. But it hardly burns our skin, right? And then we have a laser that it's a lesser, it produces lesser amount of energy compared to the sun. But if it's focused on maybe a cancerous cell, if it's focused on a mole and all of that, it's able to eliminate. Why? Because the mass of the earth is so big that the focus of the sun is not enough to consume you because of the distance, right? And that's where the power of focus comes in. It is important, extremely important, that we know that this is what you stand for, and then every other thing can be breathed through it, right? Such that when I'm thinking of Zara, I don't know Zara as a doctor, real estate manager, a videographer, a podcaster, a host, and I'm like, okay, so who exactly is
Who
Zara?
exactly is
When you
Zara?
think when you think of Dangote, one thing comes to mind: entrepreneur, right? And Dangote also has streams of things. When you think of okay, I'm trying to use someone, maybe Dangote is a little bit far. Okay, let me use Vicky James, for instance. When you think of Vicky James, the first thing that comes to your mind is, oh, Vicky James is a fashion designer, but she does content. She does a lot of things, and same with every other person that comes
She
to your
even
mind,
act.
right? So we can be whoever we choose to be, right? But you have to be someone at the call. There has to be something that we all know you to be, and every other thing can come in place. So I'm not just thinking, oh, can I survive as a nurse? Can I survive I can be both. And they are both looking at each other, and the nursing career is saying, wow, Sharon is an asset to this profession. And entrepreneurship is saying, oh, Sharon is one of the leading women in Africa and globally. So yeah, I think it's a stage, it's a phase. So let yourself go through the process, because phases eventually phase out. Right.
Yeah,
So
thank you
let
very much.
yourself
Zara.
we're not robots. There are times that our feelings get to us and you're like, oh my, and let yourself be tired and let yourself come out of it. So yeah, one day at a time.
So you said something about focus being important. I would like to add something. For someone who is a multi-potentialite, like you do a lot of things, you have a lot of interests, you're not just here, you're not just there, and you're doing well in them, right? I believe that the subject of focus is not just about multitasking. So if you're working on a specific task, for example, you're as a medical student that I am, I have to study, I have to go to classes, I have to still be here, I have to create content, I have to do other things I do.
Mm.
I when I'm studying, I'm studying. I'm not studying and creating content. So at
Yeah.
that point or at that time, I am being focused on studying so I can get good results. When I'm creating content, I'm not studying. So I'm focused on creating content at that particular time so I can get good content. When I'm working on campus guest project, I'm working on campus guest project, I'm trying not to study so that I can come up with something that would really help people. So the subject of focus can also come in that way, so you're
Yeah.
able to manage several things. So it's not that when you are trying to when you're trying to work on something else, you're also trying to work on another thing. That's like multitasking. Your brain is not actually designed to function that way. But
Yeah.
that's where people get it wrong. People get it wrong in the sense that you are now meant to do just one thing.
One
I
thing.
don't think everybody is meant to do one thing. There are people that will do so well doing one thing, but there are some
Yeah.
people that are not wired to just, they can't stay in one place. Like they're always going from here to there. And when you make them stay in one place, you try to like stifle them, and then they cannot really show their full potential or
Mm.
manifest their full potential.
Mm.
So do you think that what you see when you look at yourself is the same thing people see? I think that's a very tricky question because, but
Mm.
yeah, just I want to know what your response would be. Do you think what you see when you look at yourself is the same thing people see? Because you've talked about you've talked about identity on the personal branding level. So do you think what you see when you look at yourself is what other people see?
Mm. Let me ask, in what context?
So for example,
Okay.
that you see you sometimes you see yourself as Sharon the entrepreneur, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
and sometimes you're Sharon the nurse, right? And there was a time that it used to matter, but now it does not matter. So
Mm.
I didn't really get what you see yourself as now. So what you see yourself as now, is it the same thing people see? So I can say people can see my brand. People can see that Ozara is a builder.
Mm.
But I don't think people see my core. I don't think people see what I base my identity on. But at the same time, people can perceive that Ozara is faith centered and she loves God. So,
Mm.
and I believe that that identity supersedes every other identity for me. So,
Mm.
I would like to know: do you think what you see when you look at yourself is what other people see?
Okay.
It's a tricky
So,
question, but then,
okay.
like, maybe the
Let me
response
let
is
me let me
wrong.
let me answer this question in the way that I understand it. You let me know at the end of the day if I answered your question or not. Right.
Of
So
course.
I think you are solely responsible for the perception of others about you. And identity, I would like to define it as one when everything is stripped away, the titles, what you do, when everything is stripped away, who you are, that is your identity. Right. So at the core, when people see Sharon, to this person, she's a nurse, to this person, she's a businesswoman. But at the core, who is she? Oh, she's faith centered. Oh, she's disciplined. Oh, she's focused. Oh, she's kind. Because we've got to be able to separate what you do, what we do from who we are. All right. And the reason for insecurity these days is because you think that what you see about yourself, people also see it about you. For instance, I'm walking into a conference and all of a sudden, just as I was about to open the doorknob tore a bit of my shirt, and then it just made me less confident. Frankly speaking, I could be the only one that noticed that tear. But because I feel
Actually,
like everybody would notice, it kind of scatters me a bit, and then I feel like, oh, this person is, and when they're staring at me too, I'm like, oh, is this tear? Is it visible? And
you're
all of that.
self-conscious.
So you are responsible for the perception of others. I shared a post recently on Instagram. I said it is hypocrisy for you to expect others to believe in you when you've not believed in yourself. It is hypocrisy. If you are not loud about your work, it is hypocrisy that someone else should be loud about your work. You've got to be the one to toot your own. You've got to be your own influencer. You've got to be your own hype man. You've got to be your own cheerleader. Because the truth is, look at the journey of your life. Who has remained the most constant person? You. The most constant person in this room is you. In your low seasons, in your high seasons, in your celebratory seasons, in your outbreaks seasons, in your failure, in your success. At the end of the day, when everybody leaves the room, when you've dropped your phones, when you're off the internet, it is you. Right? So the way I see myself is how you carry yourself that people will also carry you. To be very honest, it is how you see yourself that people will also carry you. So if you think that you're a confident person, if you think that your ideas can change the world, it means that you're not just, you've not just been saying the words, you've also been acting the words. And people are not blind. They can see enough, they can see through you to see that this is who this person is. So I don't have to know Dangote personally to see that Dangote is a focused, self-driven entrepreneur and is a consistent man, not because he knows me personally, but based on his track records.
Actually.
So you are in charge of the perception of, the perception of others can also be wrong. I mean, people will just look at you and assume that you are proud just because you walked into a room and you didn't smell. And I'm like, oh, should I do you want me to open my teeth and but you get the point. So yeah. So that's it for me.
So I want to ask, was there ever a pressure for you to look like the kind of person that people expected you to be?
More,
Was there ever a
well, there's no pressure here. I'm telling you.
no
And honestly, one of the greatest gifts you can give to yourself is self-awareness. I promise you, a man that is not self-aware is bound to fail over and over. Like, have you ever wondered how someone is talking to you and you realize that the person is moving back? You should clock it that something is wrong with your mouth odor or something is, and they just keep talking and talking and talking. And to be very honest, they don't know. And if you lack self-awareness, you'll be insensitive to people's feelings. Because you would not know when you are being too much. Now, nobody's saying you should shrink, but you should know when to not make someone else uncomfortable, right? And I think my self-awareness is just so high that I know when I'm trying to live for another person, when I'm supposed to be living for the audience of one. And I'm like, Sharon, you're already trespassing. Bring yourself back. So you need to know how to talk to yourself. Your voice needs to be loudest in your head because you know yourself, you know your boundaries, you know what you can take. Right. So really, I think I've been able to handle that part. And like I said earlier, there are times that we fall short because I'm human. But you must be able to pick yourself back up. That this feeling that I'm feeling is not it. It needs to go. Right. So yeah. So that's it. That's it.
Very much. This is like 10 years or so of building Shay's Hub. Am I correct?
Let me see.
Is this almost 10 years?
Almost 7. Almost 7.
7 years. So it's almost 7 years of building Shay's Hub.
Yeah.
That's a very long time. Very, very long time. What was something that looked so small for you at the time when you started, but now it has changed everything for you? What was that thing that looked so small, but now has changed everything for you? And what do you think as a builder? I think there's always a part of building that people romanticize. They're always so eager about that part of building that they neglect some other parts. So these are like 2 questions. And What was that thing that looked so small at the time? Maybe you would have neglected it, right? I'm trying to connect questions. You would have neglected it, but now it has changed everything for you. And what part of building do you think people have so much romanticized and tried to put ahead of some other parts of building?
All right. So let me answer the first question. For every builder here, the most important factor that, oh my gosh, my twin brother is here and he's distracting me. the most important factor is people. I think we do not emphasize enough the importance of people. You see, God's method is men. And if God, creator of heaven and earth, if God's method is men, then you that you are in the creation, you cannot say you can't do without men. I'm grateful for two things. I'm grateful for the grace to execute fast. I started my business less than a month of thinking about it. I was not, and I also think that is the problem that we are facing now that we are exposed to so many things. Everybody's thinking about structure. And I'm like, can you just start and you can just figure out the structure along the way? I remember all that I was interested in was just, let me just start this business fast. And if I just felt like, if I didn't trust my guts and trust my instincts and felt like it's too a dream too, how many 16-year-olds are selling something? Everybody's still collecting your free money. You say you want to be financially independent, rest. And I think
Oversabi.
oversabi, right? And I think my oversabi self, has been I'm so intuitive. I want to know why is this happening? Why is this happening? And all of that. And I think I'm grateful for that part of me, right? And I said I'm grateful for two things. That's the ability to execute fast and people, right? Because I got I think my twin brother, he had to even save. We had to save a lot of to pay that 3K. That 3K was a lot. It felt like it was like 1 million, right? But we did it regardless. And looking at the logo now, it's like it's giving you. I still have the logo. It's giving you, but I mean that was the beginning of it. And back to your second question, I've lost track of the second question. The second question is
So the second question is, what part of building do you think that a lot of builders will romanticize?
okay. I think the idea of
I think you've answered it. Trying
okay,
to overplan
yes,
and try
yes,
to
yes,
create
yes.
unnecessary
We
structure.
we want to start with a boardroom. We want to start with the fancy offices. We want to start with being there. And see, when you rush to make sense out of time, you will have a low legacy. We are being too competitive, and that's why you cannot afford to compare yourself with another person's journey. Ife Dang started a business with a $10,000 savings. Do you know what that means? And she just said it casually that it was her savings, and she just started a business with it. But we have the likes of Amazon. We have the likes of so many. We have the likes of Tara, Mama Tara
Yes,
Feladrote,
of
that started
Tara.
a business with 15,000 naira. So to be very honest, some people will start big, and that's the truth. They will just start big, and and
Because they have the resources, maybe.
yes, like my friend will always say, see, you gain access to rooms by either your work or through your lineage. Do you understand? An old elephant, a new elephant today is more relevant, bigger than the oldest rats. So you cannot begin to compare yourself with someone whose advantage is lineage. Is already 10 steps ahead. You have to walk your way. You have to, and so once you begin to compare, you have lost the vision. You cannot intimidate a man with vision. You cannot intimidate a man that is trying to build. He's hungry to see the results. And it is if it is when you are not hungry enough that you get distracted by yeses, you get distracted by, see, if you are hungry, you cannot be if you have not eaten for 5 days, what's on your head is food. You don't care when someone says your shoe doesn't look good. You don't care when someone says you look unkempt. You're just interested in satisfying your stomach. Now, when you're satisfied, you cannot say, okay, what are you saying now? Right? So when people give up too easily, it just means that you were not hungry enough. If you're hungry, you'll be restless. You'll not be able to sleep until you get the prize.
Well,
I think I've diverted
that
from the
was a
question.
lot, yeah. But for me personally, I don't know, but I've seen myself whenever I want to start something, I would actually spend time thinking.
Mm.
Sometimes I might overthink it, but sometimes the idea does not even cross execution. So it just dies, right? But some other times I see that when I think through something, I'm able to come up with better ways of execution. So I may have a very brilliant idea and I decide to run it through some people. Sometimes the idea does not even pass the first stage of brainstorming, and they're like, so why this? And I'm lost. So sometimes when you have an idea, the first thing you should do is to research, not just launch. So you should research because it's fine to just do it and go all out, right? But if you don't research, you're going to fail. Yeah, failure is going to give you experience, but it's sad. It will be sad that when you come back to the drawing board and you're like, so why did this fail? It's just that, oh, I didn't actually target the right customer segment. I didn't
Yeah.
actually do the right thing. So while you are going to be executing fast, that's a very valid and very important method of actually scaling and doing big things, because if you can reduce the time between idea and execution, you actually scale, you actually do a lot, you actually do good and great things. But then if you don't do research, if you don't do proper research, you might actually fail before your first execution.
Mm.
I've seen it happen a number of times, and 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 sometimes too, I see that research has helped me prevent some kind of execution. So I have a good idea, right? But I try to execute it the right way because, oh, I've done my research and all of that. So yeah, as an entrepreneur, as someone that started a business, I'm very sure that there were times when there was no share of Shay's Hub, and it was all low key and all of that. There were moments when you might have thought that, oh, this might not work. I'm not sure, but maybe there were moments you thought that this might not work. Did you even ever fail publicly at all? And what does failure mean to you? So what did failure mean to you at the time you started your business? What did failure mean to you? And did you ever fail publicly? Do you think you ever failed publicly?
All right. So I want to add to the points that you were making earlier. I think that we also need to be careful that in our quest to research about what we want to do, which is very important. The reason why so many of us have so many ideas and it doesn't get to the execution phase is because, you see, there's a level that you internalize your ideas and you just become satisfied, you just become fulfilled because you've talked, you've over talked
You
about
just
it, and it just feels like there's nothing to see again, because I mean you've thought about the beginning, the future, and you've just sealed it in your head. And it's also important that we are careful of who we share our ideas with. Our environment is very important. It can either grow or abort your vision. And so there are times that we share our ideas with certain friends and they tell you, oh, this is too big. And then you tell that person, the person is saying, let's go, let's get this done. Right. So it is important that you are able to mark people in your lives that are able to think big, because where you are is as a result of what you know and don't know, and what you have become is dependent on what you're giving attention to, and where you are going is also reliable and dependent on the things that you give yourself attention to. So please let's mark that your environment is very important. All right, so when it comes to failure, very honest, that's the only thing I remember from what Sarah said. And I know she said some things before failure, but let me just deal with the failure aspect first. Okay, what does failure mean to me? Well, I thought, you know, I thought I was the kind of person that was bad in handling failure, and I realized when I asked myself, and I was able to get to the root of my why. I think it is largely dependent of people's perception about it. That, oh, why would Sharon fail in this area? Now, I'll make an example. Throughout my nursing school days, I never failed a course. I never had a receipt. As a matter of fact, every exam, I was always making sure that,
Wow.
I'm getting somewhere. Don't stay wow. I never had a receipt. Every exam, I'm always like, God, this is you, this is my book, and all of that. Because there was this stereotype back then in school that even sometimes there are days of receipts, there will not be classes. So, those that actually have receipts, if they are going, so you know that, oh, this person had a receipt. And I just could not handle that shame. But then I left school and I wrote a particular exam and I failed. And I didn't flinch. It didn't bother me for a second. And I'm like, okay. And then I realized that because nobody knew about it. Nobody, it was just between me and myself. So I'm like, okay, so those days that I
Actually,
was scared of failing, it was because of people's perception about me. See, you've got to understand that people don't really care about you. You're not the main character in people's lives. Like, people are so busy. I understand they are busy bodies, right? But of course, you don't want to be one of them.
yeah,
I
there are
believe
busy
so.
bodies.
I believe you don't want to be one of them. But
Of
people are
course.
so focused on themselves. They may notice one or two things, but they are off. I mean, the next 10 seconds, they're off your life and they're focused on themselves, right? So failure for me is just gathering data. I think we're too emotional. We need to be logical about things. Why did you fail this exam? Oh, you didn't read well enough. Oh, why did this fail? Oh, I didn't do my research enough. And being able to know areas that we can work on and get better in. For me, failing in my business was when I paused my business for about 3 years plus. And I didn't count it as failure, but I saw so many businesses move forward. And I would see a lot of my friends that knew when I started, they would message me, oh, Sharon, you need to get back. You need to, you need to. And I just could not find the motivation to start that business. I just couldn't. I just couldn't. But when the time was right, I gave it my all. Right. So, and that's all we need to understand, that because you failed in a particular venture, you failed in a particular business, doesn't make you as the entity the failure. I need to think about it like this. You're an architect in a building. The building collapsed, and then the architects then start throwing tantrums. Oh my God, I've collapsed, and decided to lie down on the ground with the collapsed building. Does it make any sense? Right?
No.
Of course, you are going to feel the pain. You'll be like, oh, you poured so much into this, which is good, which is valid. Let yourself go through the hurt. What's the next step? Oh, we failed because the foundation was not, I'm not an engineer. The foundation was not too deep. The sand we bought was fake. The cement we bought was not original. Okay, let's dive into the next thing. But we just collapse with that building and we just stay there, and everybody's looking at us, waiting that stand up and gather your team. So failure is really data, to be very honest. Failure is data. There's a way you will fail in a thing. It just makes your eyes very sharp and your senses heightened in knowing what to do better. And if you don't know the reason that you failed in a thing, it's also failure. If you don't know why you failed in a particular thing, you need to know why. You need to know why. So I mean, that was it for me, and that is why we're called builders. You build, you keep building, you keep building. So you've got to be able to separate yourself from this entity. Imagine I have several businesses now, and it's even in different industry. One is food, one is fashion. So because an aspect of business failed, does that make me a failure? No, the business failed. And a builder must be able to have the mindset of you can always build again. You can always build again. And just like I said that you have to be hungry enough. You have to be hungry enough. I shared that post recently online. I was like, if you are hungry, you don't walk into a restaurant and because they serve you one bad meal, you decide not to eat again for the rest of your life. The highest thing is you will not go to that same restaurant again and you go somewhere else. Right. So that's how we should deal with life issues too. You have only one life to live. You have many years to live. You failed once. There are many years ahead. Get to work. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Sharon. I had a question about if you ever felt like people were moving faster than you, and yeah, you talked about it while you were sharing your experience about failure, and there's something I said recently. Maybe if you check the posts or social media captions, you'll see that the fact that your product fails does not mean that you have failed. There is a difference between your product, your organization, your company. Oh, I built this NGO, I built this startup. There's a difference between what you're building and who you are at the core. Actually, nobody really teaches you to separate what you're building from who you are. But that's something we need to learn as young builders, that there's actually a difference between what we're building and who we really are at the core, such that when our product fails or when anything that we are working on fails, whatever idea we're trying to design at the moment fails, we remember that we can still change the world through the execution of our ideas, which is it's not a personal failure. The product failed, the idea failed, it couldn't bring return. So it's not you. You have not failed. So that's just to buttress what you've said.
Sorry,
And
I also like, sorry to cut you in. When you said something that maybe if there was a time where I felt like I was, others were moving faster than I was. I saw a tweet online, a post. I didn't see the tweet, I saw the post. And then the girl was talking about how she saw a tweet and where people would say, oh, they feel behind. And the question is, behind who? Behind what? Who
actually,
like who exactly are you? Because see, I was almost drowning in these thoughts, right, late last year, and it felt like, oh, this is not where I'm supposed to be. Others have moved ahead, and that's why you cannot underestimate the power of the right counsel. I was able to speak to one of people that I'm accountable to, and he said something to me. He said, you see, you just have to be focused on growing. Growth is like a magnet that pulls people towards you. You want to be like that person. You want to be like, you are pursuing after that person. Why don't you just sit in your own zone and decide to grow and watch how people will gravitate towards you? Because nobody wants to associate with a mediocre. So instead of sulking in that moment of you are behind, ask yourself, where is that? You are behind who exactly? And that's why we made the point of lineage, and we made the point of, getting to work yourself up there. So let's just bear that in mind. I just needed to just chip that in. Focused on Focus on growth. Yeah.
so I believe you sat down to think with me while I was thinking about my questions, because now I want to
Oh,
ask,
oh
what do
wow.
you think? What do you think you've unlearned to keep going? And I've heard a lot of things you just said right now, and it seems like you've answered that question.
Mm.
So, what do you? Maybe you just want to repeat what you've
All right.
said. What do you think that you had to unlearn to keep
Mm.
going? Was there a time that you did not trust yourself? Because if I was the guest here, I would share a number, a couple of times when I did not trust myself. I felt
Mm.
I could not do certain things. I could not show up in certain ways or in on certain platforms.
Okay.
But then that was because personally I didn't have the expertise, or let's say I didn't have enough knowledge, right? So
Mm.
were there times that you didn't trust yourself, or what did you really unlearn to keep going?
Honestly, I think one of the most fascinating thing about living is learning. Is the fact that you think that you know it. One day you think you know it all, and then the next day life just humbles you and tells you you know nothing. One of the things that on learning is that um people should always reach out to you. I don't know how to explain this. There's a place we get to our lives and you feel like, oh, we want people to be able to reach out to us. See, you've got to be able to go for that opportunity and be audacious. Like, you've got to be able to look at someone and tell them that this thing, I actually do deserve it. right? Instead of sitting on the sidelines and waiting for someone to just notice you and just pick you out of the crowd. Mm-mm. I think there are times that you need to stand up and let people see you. And I think it took me a while before I learned that. I always thought that, oh, let me just keep on doing what I'm doing. People will reach out. I think you also have to start reaching out to people. Yes, you also have to start reaching out to brands that you want to work with, to people that you want to meet, to going for certain conferences that you feel like it's not in your level, to paying for it, and it just makes sense that the way we view life sometimes can be really myopic. Now we're staying at Goliath, this tall, very, very tall giant with probably, twice as big as my hands and my legs, and we are scared of his height. But Goliath is a man that has been defeated. You are staring at a situation that is already defeated. You are staring at a circumstance that you have the potential to overthrow. And I think that is what I'm, beginning to learn, that I should not always shy away from opportunities, run towards them. Comparison also is the greatest thief of joy. I'm sure that that's not the first time that we're hearing this. Comparison. When you start comparing yourself with somebody, you would not see your own progress. You won't see your own growth, right? And your progress is highly dependent on your self-perception. If you have killed yourself in your mind, nothing can move. A defeated man is one that is defeated within, such that whatever circumstance, whatever situation that is happening around you should not happen within you. The scripture we say that and David encouraged himself in the Lord, such that even when his wives were taken, when his children were taken, I think it was the Amalekites now. That should be 2 Samuel 30, if I'm correct now. And his followers wanted to stone him. Now, he encouraged. We need to be able to have retrospect of things and encourage ourselves. You need to be your biggest motivation. And I think it's important as builders, because I see so many controversial topics. I'm not ready to dig into that. But when people get so mad and so frustrated when their inner circle is not supporting them, okay, as business owners now, for instance, you feel like your friend is not patronizing you, you've got to unlearn those myopic. I'm telling you, you've got to unlearn those things. See, the moment you see that your brand is not just for immediate environment, you're not even focused on whether or not. I don't think I have ever messaged a friend and like, oh, I was checking through my log sheets. You've never patronized me. Oh, because business is not just I'm saying this, you must buy. You are creating solution for people. So I'm just going to assume that you don't need it yet. When you need it, you are going to look for it. And you also have to be careful that they are not running away from you because you are not providing excellent work. It's also important, right? Nobody wants to keep on pouring into something that is not valuable to them, right? So we expect too much. You expect too much from people, and then it shrinks you. Oh, you launched your business for the first 6 months, all your friends have not patronized you. Your eyes is on something and building it. You're not building just a brand for your friends. And that's why you see most business owners, when they want to start selling something, they try to gauge their prices based on what their circle can afford. That's the first mistake you will make, right? In saying that, oh, can this person afford it? Can this person afford it? Okay, let me now put this price, right? So it's something that we need to unlearn. It's something that we need to unlearn. It's something that we need to unlearn. So comparisons, don't compare yourself with anybody. Run towards the opportunity. Because the truth is, nobody is above your league. I've been able to interact with certain people by God's grace, and to be very honest, they don't actually have two heads. And okay, have you not been to conferences and you see what some people are doing? Like, this is mid, but they are the one that had the audacity to do it. You are just sitting in the crowd. So if you think it's mid, you go to the front line and you work, right? Because life is not going to be nice to you because you're a nice person, and it's not going to favor you because you are smart, but it's going to favor you because you are audacious. And life is not a respecter of persons. It respects people that are able to bounce back. I call it the bounceability factor. to be able to bounce back from everything. It pushes you down, you dust your dress, and then you get up. I know it feels like I'm motivating you, I'm saying sweeter things, but these are experiences that I've lived. Right. I'm still
So
getting better.
Sharon,
And then
you've actually said quite a lot. Sorry for
okay,
cutting you in.
all right.
And I'm sure that everybody listening actually got what you said about what you needed to unlearn,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that you had to build yourself and believe in yourself so that others can also believe in you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite epic. So I can get from all that you've said that you you built based on conviction and not based on pressure. So you are not being pressured to build anything. You
Yeah.
actually built based on the conviction that you had about yourself and about who you are. That's actually amazing, and I'm really glad that you got to share it here. So if Shay's Hub did not exist, what version of you do you think would still be hidden?
Would still be eating. That's a very tricky
Yeah,
question,
and
though. Mm. All right. So let me say that. Let me answer first by telling you what Shades Up has brought. At the beginning, it felt like I was just selling something. Oh, let me just sell this, let me just sell it, let me just make money. But in the journey, I realized that, oh, I actually have passion for entrepreneurship, in seeing people grow, in seeing people thrive in businesses, in speaking and talking about it, in encouraging people, in telling people how liberating it is, and all of that. And something created a shift when I employed my first staff. It just made me feel like a mom, and it just made me feel like this is beyond just the hobby. This is real work, and I cannot afford to do anyhow, because this is dependent on someone's livelihood. And because of my own seriousness, I cannot just lay her off and say you have to go. The numbers are not numbering. This is actually real work, and I have to put in so much effort in ensuring that the business is sustainable enough to accommodate her and the thousands of staff that I'm seeing in my head. Right. So I think one of the things that will be hidden is the ability to nurture. And to be very honest, that's why I said it, if Shades Up didn't exist, I strongly believe that another thing would have existed, because many other things are going to exist. Shades Up just happens to be the first child that you are seeing, right? So I just feel like one way along, the journey, something else would have been birthed. Yeah. But for the sake of this question, let me just say the ability to nurture.
hmm. So if Shay's Hub did not exist, of course there would have been an idea you would have executed,
Mm.
or something else would have come up. But yeah, you talked about the ability to nurture what you think would have existed. So everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to make it big. Everybody wants to be this big person. Yeah, nobody wants to be small. Nobody wants to have to beg the other person for food, for shelter. Nobody wants to be dependent, basically. But success has a cost. Success has
Mm.
a cost. And I think success can break or shift somebody. For example, someone can get their first million, and that's the day they remember that, that's the day they realize rather that they have the tendency to humanize, to get
Mm.
drunk, to do all to they now become involved in all manner of vices just because they got their first million. Somebody can instead get their first million and realize that, oh, there's this other idea we can actually start
Mm.
working on. There is this product we can push out. So success does things differently to different people. But the should I say the cocoa of the issue is that people want to be successful. What do you think success can cost an average
Mm.
builder?
I wrote something here in my yeah I wrote something here in my journal, and it just resonates so much with your question. I'm going to read it. I wrote here that regardless of your position, it is your duty to remain ordinary, thrive towards ordinariness. I have so many things to say, But let me start by saying that success can cost you you. And I'm going to buttress my
Hmm.
point. You see,
Success can cost you. Wow.
yes, you see, we are so power drunk, especially in this part of the world, such that we clamor for so many titles. And then when someone does not address you by that title and calls you your name, you get offended. I actually want to be successful to the point that someone calls my name and I'm not feeling, there's nothing in my chest. I was like, why would you call me that? Why would you call me Sharon? You know, Mama Ibuka Woshika says she gets angry when people, she's not hungry. She just doesn't like it when so many things are attached to her name. Because Ibuka Woshika, without the doctor, without the and all of that, is a force on her own. So regardless of your position, it is your duty to remain ordinary, strive towards ordinariness. And that is why the greatest investment that you can make is yourself. I said it at the beginning. I said identity is, for me, once when everything is stripped away, at the core, who are you? The greatest investment you can make is yourself. And see, in as much as we are pursuing this life that, you know, life of influence, that some people want to be known, some people don't want to be known, whatever thing that you are pursuing, and whatever highs that you want to attain, we need to get to a point that we can go to certain meetings where nobody knows us so that we can feel human again. And these things happen unconsciously when someone calls you ma'am, madam, and then you're hearing madam 15 times in a day. You're hearing it for like 10 years. And when somebody calls you your name, you feel like Shimakwe. And I think we need to go to certain events when you just have to sit at the back and feel human. Feel human again. Because that way, when success comes, it's just like, okay, all right, this has happened. What's the next thing? What's the next required thing to do? The moment you feel fulfilled. And that is why there are times that God withhold certain blessings from us because we are not ready. God knows that this one, if you give him 100 million, we die. In fact, it's going to be using people as red carpets, you know. So it is very, very important. And that is why at the core, the source of your identity should be from God. And every other thing flows through it so that you can have enough guidance in knowing how to navigate influence, because it can be intoxicating, really. It can be intoxicating. And it's just important that you are able to separate yourself from what you do. Separate yourself. Go to places where you are not known. Let people call you your name. Stay ordinary. Right? So yes, success can cost you. So I will just answer that.
You keep sharing a lot of gems and a lot of gems and a lot
Mm,
of gems. So success can cost you. Basically, you have to put in the work. You have to exert yourself. You can't just sit back and expect that, oh, everything is going to be all right. The Inkindle gets up to herself, and then there will just be this fantasy podcast at the end of the day for you to listen to. You have to sit down. You have to maybe keep sleepless nights. I don't think I do yet because I'm like I cannot come and die. But then put in the work.
mm,
You have to give up a lot of things. There are a lot of things I cannot do. There are sometimes I can't go to some certain places. That's not because I cannot go there, but because I'm looking at the cost of what that will cost me, what that will cost my
yeah,
reputation. Because another thing is that you have a reputation, apart
yeah.
from the fact that you don't want to ask to please others, right? You still
Mhm,
have a reputation to keep. People are not going to listen to you if you are a certain kind of person. People
mm,
are not going to come to this room to say, oh, they want to listen to this person talk.
yeah,
If you behave a certain kind of way out there, you brand yourself a certain way. People would listen to you when they see that this is what you want to talk about because they believe that you have something to offer, and that's something you want to keep up with, right? I would have loved to ask you about your faith and everything, but I think I should ask you one question because we're kind of running out of time. Have you
okay.
ever wrestled with God in your journey? Was there a time where you really doubted that maybe God was involved in what you were doing? Was there a time you ever wrestled with God? And was there a time that the noise just got so much that you were thinking, am I actually in the right path? Because we've already made you've already said several times, you've referenced your faith, you've said a lot of things about
Mm.
God. So I would like to assume that yes, God is at the center of what you do. Was there ever any a time you wrestled with him in your decisions or during your in your journey as the CEO of Shazel?
Okay. I'm not going to just limit that as the CEO. I'll just limit that as a person, as Sharon, generally. I mean, I just got out of one wrestling. But like always, God always wins. So I would just like to say that um at the core, we are children of God, and ultimately we relate with God as a father. And it's expected that as children, you don't know so many things. So of course you throw tantrums because I mean our knowledge is limited to what we know. And then sometimes it gets to our head and we think that we can direct God to, oh God, I think this is the right way to do. You just agree with me just this once. Right. Of course I've been in that phase over and over and over and over and over. But ultimately I think God, it's not I think God is a good God. Recently I was spiraling, I was wondering this big decision I'm about to take. eh, and I was wrestling with God in my heart. And I used to say that God did ofofo, and about 5% reached out to me about that same matter. And that's why it's important the kind of environment that you keep, because life is not just vibes. There will be times that everywhere will be blurry and your lens is going to be a little bit, you will need people to wipe your lens. You will need people to take their handkerchief and clean your lens so that you can see clearly. So so of course I've been in that phase. I will still be in that phase, right? Because we are humans and then we fall short. But God has been faithful in reminding me that you see this life, let me get them. You just they follow my instructions. So yeah, that's it for me. Zara, are you with me? Okay.
I'm sorry I went off for a while. The network issues.
All right.
While I hope to get what you say after I've watched the video,
Okay.
okay, I can see from the chat box that if as a builder, it's important to know that your life is not just vibes. It's important to have the right people around you. And this is why I would say that if you have any questions, you want Miss Sharon to answer any questions, you can please type them in the chat box so I can read it out for you. If there's any question I've not touched that you want to ask, please just type them in the chat box so I can read it out for you. So, is there any words you want to say to a builder, especially in the lines of building without knowing themselves? Is there anything you want to share in that regard?
All right. So you cannot build any sustainable thing. You can't build something that would last if you've not found yourself, because you've got to see yourself as the architect at the center of it. Every other thing is attached to you. If you do not have a direction of where you are going, you are going to drag us all down into the sea. Okay, not us, but you get what I mean. You are going to pull everything into your lack of clarity. And you've got to see your position as a gift. You are not your position. So the moment you see that this is, because one thing you must also see as a builder is something that can outlive you. So you are not your position. You see it as an opportunity to provide opportunities for other people and for other things to be able to emerge from your being. Rather than you right? So understood the concept of who you are as a person, nothing else will make sense. Nothing else will make sense. And that's why it's important that you know who you are. That way you can shut out the noise. You don't have to hear from this person is saying something and then your eyes are glued and you're thinking about it. This person is also saying something. But knowing what you want at its core. And then every other thing will just feel like suggestions, right? So it is important that you see yourself that this position is a gift. It is not the entirety of your being. And you should see yourself as someone that can, because the greatest form of leadership is be able to transfer leadership to another person. So if what you are doing cannot last even in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, you're just working. It's a job that you have, right? So see yourself beyond that post. All right. I can see questions in the chat box. So let Zara take it up from there so that I don't take too much time.
So, like, how do you keep your identity grounded in relationship? I actually don't get the question. How do you deal with keeping your identity grounded in relationships?
I
I don't
think
know.
guys can explain
Professionally,
and friendly.
you can explain without unmuting though.
Okay. So the wise man is saying, how have you been able to
So
build
let's go to
relationship?
the next question. How have you been able to build your relationship with uplines?
I think this boils down to what I said in the beginning, value.
So wise man is trying
Hey, princess, your network.
to ask
Hmm.
you how have you been able to build your relationship or your connection with uplines?
Everything boils down to value. Value gravitates people towards you. And um, the moment you start living your life in a self, not living it, not to be selfish. Okay, let me put it like that. Everybody's actually selfish. Everybody wants something, right? But you've got to be able to regulate your relationship with people. That you're not just about what you need to get, but also what you can provide. Nobody really wants to associate themselves with anybody that just keeps collecting. So what can you offer to the table? What can you bring to the table? And that's why it's important that you also invest in yourself so that when real life issues is happening, you're not just saying, wow, or more seriously, you have something tangible to say, right? You can also come true for people in their lowest moments. So yeah, just be a valuable person, right? And you can also pray to God to be a likable person because there is that too. The scripture when it says that, and everyone who saw Joseph and was favored, the favor of God encapsulated that man called Joseph. So it's also something that you can pray for yourself, that God, anybody that sees me, let my name be on the good side. That's just on the lighter notes, by the way. So yeah, that's just it.
So Sharon, thank you very much for that. So I think Daniel is trying to ask, or Dan Light is trying to ask, how do you deal with keeping your identity grounded in, I'm trying to assume that's what he's trying to ask.
Yeah.
I'm trying to assume that what I want to explain is what he's trying to
Yes, I think
ask.
he has explained in the chat box.
Okay.
Yes.
So in relating with people, it's very easy they rub off on you and you rub off on them. In cases like this, especially if they have a different personality, one you don't necessarily need, not that it is wrong. How do you keep your identity grounded? That's what he meant by the question.
All right. Self-awareness, relationship with God, self-awareness. You realize that so many people that I like, okay, I like to say this, that I've not met half of the people that I will meet in my entire life. And that is why it is important that your self-awareness game needs to be 10 over 10. Because imagine everybody living a piece of themselves with you. You're meeting 1,000 persons, and 1,000 person is living a piece of themselves with you. It just means one thing, that you are a sieve. If you cannot filter things that are able to stay and you are able to filter out, you're going to have a big problem. right? And that's why you need to know. See, even this thing I'm saying, it boils down to something as little as your best food. And I'm going to cite an example. Oh, my best food is beans, for example. And then Zara calls, I'm like, ew, beans. And then you just start feeling insecure. And you're like, it's not actually beans. I actually like beans when I was small. It's as little as that. And then Zara goes and like, beans is not posh. Next time I will say fried rice. So it just makes you, that means an emotional dump ground. If people can come and they will just throw it at you, Jim, and then you're accepting. So I think at its core, it is important, why do I not like this thing? Is it because of what Zara said? Or is it because it truly doesn't resonate with me? And this is a conversation I've been having myself lately, because I realized that everybody is sounding the same. Everybody wants to sound like someone. No, we've lost our self-perception. We've lost our own voice. Why do you like what you like? Why do you hate what you hate? Is it because you saw a tweet? It is even twice as bad for people in relationship. You have a fight with your significant other. The next on your algorithm is how to respond to your spouse when so happened. List 10 ways on how to be more feminine. Excuse you. And then you see that this idea of if they can, they would. Where did we all see it? We saw it online. So you've got to be able to understand, why is this happening? I had a conversation with a friend, and this is not, I'm just chipping this in, and I was telling her that, when you see people comment online and like they can never cook for a man, everybody just keeps saying they can never cook for a man, they can never cook for a man, they cannot buy this for something. So another person will say, oh, me and this guy, even 1 month to our wedding, I cannot cook for him. But the truth is, if the guy should come to my house and wants to come and greet my parents, and they're like, okay, but will I not cook? So when you're not adamant that no, because I saw it online that I cannot cook, I have to wait. So you need to know what you want, really, right? Not to be an emotional dump ground. And I think that just settles it. Be yourself. I'm not so. If Zara comes and she dumps something on me and accepts it, Rebecca comes, Olamide comes, Mercy comes, it means I'm Sharon, Zara, Sharon, Mercy, Sharon, Rebecca, Sharon. So where exactly I am, right? So yeah, I think that's just it.
Yeah, I also want to add that friendships have actually helped me. Friendships have helped me grow. So I'm the kind of person that before I accept someone to be my friend, they actually have to pass through several stages of friendships. So there's the acquaintance, there is a casual friend, there's a close friend. So that way I shield myself from whatever I don't want dumped on me. So my acquaintances would want to, like, they would be at the more like the lowest rung, right, aside from the people you see randomly on the road. So they might still have some things that I do not want to emulate. So I know that, okay, these people are there, I don't give them so much voice or so much room in my life. But before you can get to a certain stage of being my close friend, then I must have I must have vetted a lot, because I also have a very good observational instinct. So I must have vetted a lot, and I see that, okay, I can actually listen to this person, because every human being is impressionable. There's no hard girl, there's no hard guy. I used to think I would be hard girl or more. I used to think that I was very hard, but when the pressure comes on you like this, you just begin to realize, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Like, how did I actually get here? So we should be able to add layers to our friendships and know who and what we should actually allow, because somebody you might actually be struggling with something, and your friend is trying to, like, say, okay, this is not the right way to go about, this is the right way to go about. But if you think that, oh, I don't need to be like my friend, I don't need to believe everything my friend says because I'm not my friend, you might not be able to deal with some things that you need to deal with, so that other doors can be open to you. Your friends will tell you the truth, actually. And if your friends aren't telling you the truth, you should change your friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, for every other person listening right now, what is one thing that you've tied to your identity? See, nobody should keep silent, so everybody should type. Everybody should type. This might be virtual, but I can appear now in your rooms. Just joking, by the way. What is one thing you've tied to your identity that you began to question? I'm very sure that there is, before you joined this conversation tonight, you were already thinking that, oh, this was this and this was this concerning your identity. What is that one thing that you're not starting to question? Or let's say, what have you learned? What is going to stay with you after this conversation? Even when you rewatch it, what do you think will always stay with you? For me, I now everywhere just block because you said a lot of things, and now I'm like, okay, so you build out of conviction, not pressure. You build out of convictions, not pressure. You build and you work and you live your life because you understand who you are,
Mm,
and not because of what your environment is saying, what you're building is, what the report is saying. So what when you're building something and the report is giving or no returns, you keep on building, even when it feels like people have gone ahead of you. You keep up to your pace and you stay with your process and you keep building, and then make sure that the time between your ideas and your execution is shortened. Try
mm,
to shorten it. Don't
yeah.
sit down and overthink, and then at the end of the day, you're like, I want to do this again, I beg. It's very normal. Like, please, this is not for me. This can't work, and all of that. So that's what
So,
I learned. That
sorry
is
for continuing. While people are, typing what they learned, I want to add something that's about the friendship thing. Not everybody is your friend. Let's normalize acquaintance. We're not used to that word. We just know it as an English word. Let's know it's not a bad thing.
actually.
It's not a bad thing. Oh, she's my acquaintance. And not everybody will be your friend. And we should normalize. You see, we will see it in the scriptures. Even Jesus he had the 70s, he had the 12, he had the 3, he had the 1. Right? So I think we need to also look inwards and see people that we can actually call our friends. It would shock you that when you use the metrics, whatever metrics you are going to be using, it will shock you that your friends may even be 5. Your friends may be 3, your friends may be 4, and every other person is just an acquaintance, a good acquaintance. Right. So please let's normalize it. Thank you, everyone.
So Olamide is saying here, she what's staying with her is that no one is really watching you. Just do
Yeah.
what you have to do. And also, growth attracts valuable people to you.
Yeah.
Growth attracts valuable people to you. So, oh yeah, is your friend, is your acquaintance, is your family member. Try whatever you're doing, try to be excellent about it, and
Yeah.
you get the right people coming for you. Especially for Wise Man was really asking about the uplines right from the beginning of the conversation. I hope you really got something. Wise Man, and you're not saying what is staying with you after the conversation.
Mhm.
So, in the absence of any other person sharing, thank you very much, Sharon, for availing yourself today. Thank you so much for coming to speak with us. We'd like to have you again, hopefully.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
I have learned a whole lot. You see,
Likewise.
I don't know. We've never been in a place where we had to speak or where we had to share things to this extent. But yeah, I've learned a whole lot, more than my expectations, really, more
Mm.
than my expectations. And I believe every other person on this call, in this conversation right now, in this room right now, and every other person that is going to watch later, we've all learned a few things, something that's staying with us, something that's changing our perspective to building, to entrepreneurship, to living as an ambitious young person. You might not be actively building something now, but you've had 1,001 ideas. This is to tell you that before the next conversation, you should have started building. You should have started doing something. And
Yeah.
yet, here at Hindu, we're also building because it's our first public life conversation. Clackets! But let's not let me clap. No, clackets. So thank you very much, Sharon. Thank you very much, everyone. So with
Thank
this, we
you.
come to the end of this conversation. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being in the room. And yeah, watch out for many more episodes, many more conversations. So this episode will be released on YouTube soon. So you can always rewatch. You can always go back to rewatch and listen to the conversation. So with this, I say bye. Stay kindled.
Bye. Bye, everyone.